Well, hello everybody. Sorry that you missed day 2 of our chapter 6. What I need to do with you today is I need to cover section 6-2 with you. Other little things that you missed that you'll need to get in and get taken care of. We did do a homework quiz on day 1, section 6-1. Your notes are fair game. Make sure you get that in, and get that taken care of. And then I need to cover with you what's called composition of functions. I believe, I don't remember us teaching this when you were freshmen, so I think this will be brand spanking new to you today. It's not hard. It's some things that we've done before, but we'll have to keep track of it. So if you had any questions there, I'd answer those. That's what those slides are for. But here's where I need to go with you guys first. I made this example up, so it looks like it has word problems in it, but check out these directions real fast. It says, suppose f and g are functions such that the range of g is a subset of the domain of f. The composition can be described as f of g of x. Sounds kind of complicated. Let me kind of give you a real-life example for this, and I think once you see it, it'll be a little bit easier. I was going to try to move that up if I can, and I can. Okay. So it says, suppose that an internet store, sporting goods store, is having a sale. They are giving customers 30% off, thus charging them 70%. If you get 30% off, they're going to charge you 70% of the original price. And then they have to add in sales tax and $10 to cover shipping and handling. So I've just made up some numbers to show you something. Right now, if you call them and order a $100 item, they're going to charge you 70%. They're going to give you 30% off. That means you've got that item for $70. And then they're going to charge you 6% sales tax and $10 for shipping and handling. Thus, your total bill is $84.20. Don't get caught up in where I got the 1.06 and the 10 from and everything. Get caught up in this moment right here. What a composition does, it creates one equation that takes you from this number to this number, bypassing the middleman. That's what a composition does. It combines two functions into a third function that takes you from the first to the third. In class, we're going to derive that equation. For you, for sake of confusion, I'm going to show you how to do it with the others. But guys, what it's going to look like here, you're going to see this notation today. You're going to see G open dot F. That open dot means composition. In the word mathematics, the word composition means following. So this really means G following F. If you look back at my example, the second thing that we did was charge them sales tax and the shipping. Well, that's listed first. It looks weird because in the real world we do everything left to right. But this means G following F. A lot of times when we do this, we work right to left. This means let's do the function of F first and then apply the function of G. Well, I got you a little confused. Come over and look at your first example. Once you see it in action, you'll understand it. And looks like I need him to move again. So here goes. My first one says f of g of 2. Guys, here's what this means. Ignore the function of f for a second. It means go find me g of 2. It means go to the function of g and plug in 2. So I'm going to go 3 times 2 minus 4, and at this moment, I'm at 2. That's not my answer yet. So I've done g of 2. Go to the function of g and plug in 2. Or you might say, take 2, plug it into g, and get 2. Now, I'm going to take that 2 and plug it into the function of f. And I'm going to get 5. Okay, so let me hit all that again. It sounds really confusing, but once you get it, it's easy. So this says, take the number 2 and plug it into the function of g. So I'm going to take 2 and plug it right there. 3 times 2 is 6. 6 minus 4 is 2. So I've got a 2. I'm going to take that 2 and plug it into f now. So I'm going to take that 2 and plug it right there and get an answer of 5. One good thing with these guys, when you plug in a number, you get a number. So let's move on to your g of f of 5. Oops, let me write that answer back. G of f of 5. Before I hit it, think about what it says. It says take 5 and do what with it? Plug it into the function of f. So I'm going to take 5 and plug it right there. So let's go 2 times 5 is 10. 10 plus 1 is 11. So I plugged 5 into f. Now I need to find g of 11, which says plug 11 into the function of g. So I'm just going to grab my brain or my calculator. 3 times 11 minus 4, and I'm going to get 29. Plug in a number, get a number. Let me erase those arrows again. Okay, so I plugged 5 into the function of f, got 11, then I plugged 11 into the function of g. Notice one last thing, guys. Notice that I'm working from right to left. I'm working that direction. Now look at f composition g of -2. That's the exact same thing as we just did. This could be written as f of g of -2. So there's 2 different ways to write it. It means the exact same thing. So let's go beat it up now. It says take -2 and plug it in for g. So we're going to take -2 and plug it in right there. 3 times -2 is -6. -6 minus 4 is -10. So I've got a -10 for a second. I'm going to plug that -10 now into the function of f. And I'm going to get this thing back out of my way. And if I do that, guys, I'm going to plug -10 right back to there. So I'm going to have 2 times -10 is -20 plus 1. This answer becomes -19. Plug in a number, get a number. Now I'm going to switch it up just a little bit. F of g of x. This says take x and plug it into g. Well, that's already done. But now here's what it says to do. It says take g of x, which is that 3x minus 4, and plug it into the function of f. So I'm going to take 3x minus 4 and plug it right there in place of that x. So here's what I've got. I've got a 2, and then I've got a 3x minus 4 plus 1. So guys, let me hit that again. I know this can be confusing. So to find f of g of x, it really says take the function of g. Take the function of g, dump it into the function of f. So I'm going to have a 2, the 3x minus 4 in parentheses, and then plus 1. Now let's simplify this. I'm going to get 6x minus 8 plus 1. Ending answer, 6x minus 7. Okay. If I still got you a little confused, keep hanging with me. Number 2 is another easy one. So let's look at g composition f of x. That's the same thing as g of f of x, which says this. Grab the function of f, which is 2x plus 1, and plug it into the function of g. It says grab the function of f, which is 2x plus 1, dump it into the function of g. So I'm going to have a 3 and a 2x plus 1 minus 4. And then simplify it. I'm going to have 6x plus 3 minus 4. So it looks like I'm going to have 6x minus 1 for that answer. So there's where we are so far. If I confused you on number 1, hang with me. Number 2 is just like it. Number 2 is going to be just like it. So it says, let's find f of g of negative 2. Since I'm plugging in a number, I'm going to get a number. So it says, take negative 2, go plug it in to the function of g. So I'm going to plug a negative 2 right here. So I'm going to have negative 5 times negative 2 minus 1, which is negative, is going to be 10 minus 1, 9. Now I'm going to find f of 9. Plug 9 right there and get 2 times 9 is 18 plus 7 is going to be 25. Plug in a number, get a number. G composition f of 3, let me get this stuff out of the way. G composition f of 3, this says plug 3 into the function of f. So I'm going to plug a 3 right there. 2 times 3 is 6. 6 plus 7 is 13. Now I need to find g of 13. So that says, take 13, plug it into g. So in your calculator, negative 5 times 13 minus 1 more is going to give us negative 66. So there's where we are so far. Another easy one, f composition g of 3. It says plug 3 into the function of g. So plug a 3 right there and get negative 16. Now we're going to go find f of negative 16. So I'm going to go on my calculator, 2 times negative 16 plus 7, and I'm going to get negative 25. Okay. Once again, g composition f of 6, plug 6 into the function of f. So I'm going to plug 6 right there. 2 times 6 is 12, plus 7 is 19. Now I need to find g of 19. So I'm going to plug 19 right there and get negative 96. Now let's work on part E. I need to find f of g of x. Now, I'm not plugging in a number this time, so I'm going to get something. So this says take the function of g and dump it into f. And guys, here's how I like to do it. I come up here, circle g, put an arrow where you're going to dump it. So it's going to look like this. 2 times negative 5x minus 1 plus 7. So I dump g into f. Simplify this, negative 10x minus 2 plus 7. So I'm going to get negative 10x plus 5. Hopefully you're starting to get the hang of this now. What's g composition f say to do? Well, just backwards of what I just did. This says take the function of f, after we put an x in there, but there's already x, dump f into g. Circle f, dump it there. So I'm going to have negative 5, 2x plus 7, minus 1. So guys, I'm really finding g of 2x plus 7. Now let's simplify that. Negative 10x minus 35 minus 1 more. Negative 10x minus 36. Okay, so 1 and 2 are kind of easy. 1 and 2 were kind of easy. Looks like I skipped number 3 for you. But here goes our number 4. Guys, the number parts are exactly the same. Need to get this out of the way a little bit. There we go. Okay, so here goes my g of f of 5. Wonder where my... So we're going to take f of 5 and we're going to plug it in. So this says plug 5 into the function of f. So I'm going to plug 5 right there. 3 times 5 is 15 plus 2 is 17. So I'm going to have g of 17 is what I'm finding now. Plug 17 into the function of g. 17 minus 9 looks like 8. Once again, plug in a number, get a number. Plug in a number, get a number. F composition g of negative 3. This says plug negative 3 into the function of g. So let's plug negative 3 right there. Negative 3 minus 9 is negative 12. Take negative 12 and plug it in to the function of f. So I'm just going to grab my calculator in my brain. 3 times negative 12 plus 2, and I'm going to get negative 34. Another easy one. F composition g of 10. I'm going to plug 10 into the function of g. And I'm going to get 10 minus 9 happens to be 1. So I've got f of 1. Go plug 1 into the function of f. 3 times 1 is 3, plus 2 is 5. G composition f of 7. Be careful, I'm going to plug 7 into f. So let's plug a 7 right there. 3 times 7 is 21. 21 plus 2 is 23. I'm now going to find g of 23. So I'm going to plug 23 in for x right there. 23 minus 9 happens to be 14. Now guys, for the rest of the video, I won't do any more with numbers. I think you should have the hang of the numbers. I'll focus on E and F though. So here goes part E. To find f of g of x, it says that we're going to find f of x minus 9. So once again, it says pick up the function of g, dump it into the function of f. So it looks like this. 3 x minus 9 plus 2. And then just simplify it. I've got 3x minus 27 plus 2, which looks like 3x minus 25. Plug in something with an x, get something with an x. G of f of x means we're finding g of 3x plus 2. So it means if I come back up here, pick up f, dump it into g. So it's just going to have a 3x plus 2 minus 9, which looks like 3x minus 7. So there's where we are so far. And I want to make sure that my record is still happening. Okay, on to number 5. Like I said, the ones with numbers, I'm going to go ahead and skip for now, because I think you got the hang of those. Here goes the rest of it, though. Let's go pick on E. Now notice there's a squared involved. Means we got just a little bit more work. We're going to find g of f of x. So I'm going to find g of x squared plus 2x. Or pick up f, dump it into g. So it looks like I'm going to have x squared plus 2x, and then minus 9. No like terms? There's your answer. X squared plus 2x minus 9. F composition g of x. This one's going to be a little bit harder, guys, so be careful here. We've done it before, but be careful. I'm going to find f of g of x, which happens to be x minus 9. Hey, look what happens, though, guys. When I pick up x minus 9 and dump it in for x, notice two things. One, there's a squared. Two, there's two x's. So it's going to look like this for a second. I'm going to have x minus 9 squared plus 2 times x minus 9. Since this is listed twice, we need to write this out so that we remember to FOIL it. This part stays as it is. Now the reason we wrote it twice, now we got to FOIL this. So x times x is x squared minus 9x minus another 9x plus 81 plus 2x minus 18. Combine your like terms. I'm going to have an x squared, negative 9, and positive 2 make negative 16x. And then an 81 and a negative 18 looks like a positive 63. So be careful when the squared show up. Let me hit one more with you, and then I will end the video. Like I said, guys, on number 6, I'm going to skip plugging in the numbers. You don't get to skip them on your assignment, but I'm going to skip them here for the sake of the video. So here goes. To find f of g of x, it means pick up g, dump it into f. Notice once again, there's a squared, so I need to write it out twice, and there's another x. So it's going to look like this. X plus 5 written out twice minus 5 times x plus 5. Let's FOIL this out. So I've got x squared plus 5x plus another 5x plus 25. Now let's distribute that 5 and get negative 5x minus 25. Looks like my ending answer. I'm going to have an x squared in there. Oh, here's 10x minus 5x is plus 5x. 25 minus 25 is 0. So there we got that one. Last one. Looks like I'm running out of room. G of f of x means that we're going to find g of x squared minus 5x. Let me come up and erase these for you. What's that mean? Pick up the function of f, dump it into the function of g. This one's really going to be pretty nice, guys. I'm going to have an x squared minus 5x plus 5. No like terms. There's my answer. Okay. So guys, that ought to be, there's another one I was going to have the class do, but that ought to at least get you through the lesson. Remember, we'll have a homework quiz on this also next time, and you missed a homework quiz, so let's make sure that you get in and get that all straightened out. So good luck on your assignment. We'll see you if you have any questions. Dang it.